Hello everyone, and happy Video Monday and happy 2015. I hope you're feeling awesome about this new cycle. I know I am. I think it's going to be a good one. So in this week's video, I want to send a special shout out to Viola. Hi Viola. And Viola messaged me asking about the plank pose and specifically if it was safe for her to continue doing the plank while being pregnant. So there's a number of things I want to say about this. First of all, for those of you who don't know, most of you I'm sure do, this is basically what a plank is. This is plank from your hands. You can also do plank from your elbows. Now, generally, and I'm emphasizing that word, generally, if you have been doing something prior to becoming pregnant, often the body is very used to the movement and it can continue to do it. The plank is like that. If you've been doing plank pose before your pregnancy, you're probably going to be okay with continuing to do it. Pregnancy, however, is not the time to try a bunch of new things or to try new workouts or new exercises. So if you've never done the plank before, I do not suggest that during your first trimester you all of a sudden kick into full gear with 5-minute plank challenges. Don't do it. Stick with, what your body knows, what your body feels comfortable with, movements that you know, etc. So Viola, if you've been doing the plank before, you can continue to do the plank as long as, throughout your pregnancy, it continues to feel good for you. Keep checking in with yourself. Your body is so wise, especially while carrying a baby. Your body is so wise. So check in with yourself and see what your body says. But generally, the plank, check with your doctor, verify this with your doctor, but generally the plank is fine to continue to do while being pregnant. Now, this applies for a lot of other things. Let's go into a little bit more of a discussion about yoga and pregnancy in general. So yoga is an absolutely wonderful thing to do during pregnancy for a number of reasons, obviously. It helps you to connect with your breath, it helps you to relax and de-stress. All of these things obviously are so helpful for the baby. Being pregnant is the time to really nurture yourself and to love yourself and to celebrate the life that's growing inside of you. And so you want to do things that are going to put you into a state of zen. And obviously this is going to be, the more you practice getting into that state, the easier, also the birthing process is going to be. Now, when pregnant, often, so as a lot of you guys know, I teach Bikram yoga. I have been for about 8 years now. And a lot of women get really afraid of practicing Bikram yoga while pregnant. Now, again, I would say if you've never done Bikram before, don't start during your pregnancy. However, I have seen a lot of women practice the series with modifications. There are some pregnancy modifications, but I have seen many women go almost their entire term, right up until their labor, practicing in the hot room. And people often say, don't practice, don't do anything in the heat while you're pregnant, but that always kind of boggled my mind a little bit, because think of like women in Africa, they're having babies all the time and it's really hot there. So the body can adapt. Again, if the body is used to that climate beforehand, it will know how to regulate within that. So if you've been practicing Bikram yoga for 5 years, like 5 times a week, I would encourage you to continue practicing. Again, check with your doctor, make sure that you feel good about it, but it's a safe thing to do, providing you've been doing it before and it's feeling good for you, etc. So there's a number of reasons for that too. When you're pregnant, often the body circulation becomes a little bit challenged and the body's more prone to water retention, so the sweating can be really good to help, keep you feeling really comfortable. Make sure, however, that you hydrate accordingly. It's so important during pregnancy that you don't become dehydrated. So avoid beverages and things that dehydrate you, and make sure you're drinking lots of fresh juices and water and stuff. So I also, in this video, moving on a little bit from all that, want to show you a little series that you can do. if you happen to be pregnant and you happen to be watching this right now, I just want to lead you through a little sequence that you can do at home during your pregnancy with poses that are safe. So when it comes to yoga, the number one thing that you want to make sure of is that you never squish the baby. We don't want to squish the baby. Also, after the second trimester, I believe it is, I wrote it down just to be sure. I did a little fact check here. After the first trimester, you don't want to do asana where you're lying on your back. So you don't want to do poses where you're flat on your back. And after the second trimester, just note that your center of gravity at that point starts to shift, and so your balancing poses could become a little bit more challenging. So you'll really have to stay present and just be careful, be mindful. Again, number one thing during pregnancy, listen to your body. Okay? So here's a little sequence that you can do if you're pregnant or even if you're not. So I'm going to adjust this. Hopefully this works out. All right, so the first pose is a beautiful side bend called half moon. So we're going to stand with our feet about hip width apart, 6 inches apart. Bring your right hand onto your right thigh. Lift your left arm up and just stretch all down the left side of the body. You can just do a little stretch like this, or you can kind of lean into it a little bit. Keep the tailbone drop to the heels. Breathing in and out. Come back through to center now and go to the other side. Reaching up and over as far as feels good for you. And then come back through to center. Let's go to the other side again. Feels so good. And inhale, and then exhale up and over. And then inhale back through to the center. From here, feet still 6 inches apart. Really reaching the chest forward. We're going to come all the way down to the ground. Keep those feet 6 inches apart. We don't want our thighs together, or we're going to squish the baby. Need a space between the legs for the belly. Slowly come down. This is where this gets a little challenging. Slowly come down and just sway back and forth a few times. Breathing is important, especially when we're upside down so that we don't get dizzy. Good. Slowly stopping and maybe grabbing on the outsides of the feet, just gently pulling the forehead, top of the head towards the floor. If you're down as far as me, you may be somewhere like this, and that's fine. Now we're going to flat back all the way back up. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I need a cameraman. All right, so now we're back at a standing position. And with our feet together, we're going to move into eagle pose, which is a wonderful pose for your lymphatic system. So again, as I mentioned earlier, often during pregnancy, the circulation becomes a little sluggish. So this pose can be really helpful for draining the lymph system. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our right leg over our left leg and wrap our right foot around the left calf muscle. We're going to bring our right arm now underneath of our left. And then we're just going to draw the elbows down, lifting the chest up, squeeze your legs together, and start to sit a little bit, as much as you can. And then inhale to come back up. Just going to show you what my legs look like here. Arms go up. Now left arm under the right arm, crossing, twisting, pulling the elbows down a little bit. We sit a little bit. If possible, you bring left leg over right. And then you squeeze everything back to center as much as you can. Squeeze the thighs together. As much as possible, push your left foot into your right calf muscle. Lifting the chest, you start to sit a little bit more. Sitting down, chest up, hello. And then slowly release that. Inhale your arms up. Exhale your arms down. Now with our feet 6 inches apart, we're going to move into a squat. So just bending the knees, come all the way back down. Good. So now you got your belly here. Really good one for the hips. The hips love this. Nice and open. Awesome. So hanging out here, again, as long as you like. You could, do this sequence a few times, and then you won't need to do it with this silly video anymore. You could just put some tunes on and do it on your own, holding the poses as long as you personally like to. All right, so here we're going to bring our hands down. We're going to let ourselves just come onto our seat, bringing the feet together for butterfly pose. So there's two ways you can do this. You can have the feet out in front of you and just slowly come down like this. Belly again comes in the center. Again, we don't want to squish the belly. Awesome. Hanging out here, the head can drop down. You can rest. You could breathe deeply and hold this pose for like 4 or 5 minutes. Or again, you could just kind of stay with that fluid movement. Just getting the blood flowing feels so, so good. Again, especially I imagine during pregnancy. And of course, guys, I'm not speaking from experience yet on this one, but just instead from what I've heard from people and from my clients. So slowly, slowly coming back up. Let's bring our feet together, draw our heels in now. Maybe grabbing the outsides of the feet. We let the knees drop. If it feels comfortable for you, maybe even pushing a little bit on the elbows. You could stretch the chest forward. Again, don't squish baby. I know I'm so silly. Awesome. And then after that, we're going to finish with a cat-cow. So this is a beautiful breathing exercise I encourage you to do during your pregnancy. So curl the toes. Knees 6 inches apart, hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to inhale and look up. And then exhale and bow our head. Inhale, arching the back. Exhale, rounding the lower back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And again, you can do as many of those as you like. I'm just going to put that together for you one more time, if you're still with me. And then again, you'd finish with your cat-cow. All right, I hope that is helpful to you, Viola. Sorry these videos are sometimes a little silly, guys, but I do my best. I am not technologically inclined, and I'm not going to pretend I am. I hope you have an awesome Monday. I hope you have an awesome week. And again, happy 2015. Woohoo! Here we come. See you soon, guys. Bye.